Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Microphone check 1 2 1 and do what the business is. Woo! Welcome to another episode of the MDX Radio Show. I am your host, Mr. Maurice Profits.
What up, Danny Dang?
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. It is cold outside, but it is hot in here. We got a good show for y'all tonight. So I'm very, very, very happy that y'all came in tonight. Shout out to everyone who's in the room right now. I see you, Clint. I see you, Shane. I see you, Melissa. I see you, Lisa. I see you, Stephanie. I see you, Roland. I see everybody popping in to the MDX Radio Show, ready for a good old show tonight. Dang, what's up with you, boy? What's good with you, bro?
Chilling. Trying not to freeze out here in Seattle, you know.
Bro. Wait, what's the weather talking about out that way? I mean, it stay cold out by you.
It's been raining, but so it's been like 34, 30, like between 35 and 40 every day.
Yeah.
Cold over here. Rainy, like always, but, you know.
Yeah, we got a piece of that too as well from our end as well, man. Like they talking about we were gonna hit with a snowstorm over the weekend. I'm like, man, please, y'all always talk about snowstorm. Y'all be wolfing all the time. Every time y'all they talk about that. Wake up Saturday morning. I woke up Saturday morning at like 6 in the morning to take my dogs out, and I didn't really see anything. I'm like, oh, okay, they wolfing. But then like 2 hours there, bam, we get hit with like 4 inches already. I'm like, what? So yeah, man. So then it stayed around. So now we're getting snow. Now we're getting rain. Now we're getting sleet. Now we're getting some like slushiness and everything like that. Now it's cold as ever too. So I mean, yeah, we getting hit all the way around as well too, man. It ain't no joke. Winter is here because we had such a good Christmas and a good New Year. Now we're paying for it on the back end now. This is what happened.
Right.
This is what happened when you don't pay your bills, man. You know, like you got some of those consequences. You know what I mean? And that's what's happening right now. Yeah, man. So anyway, but we have a packed show for y'all tonight. First and foremost, on top of everything, first off, thank yous and shout outs to everyone who joined us in the last episode of the MDX Radio Show. We appreciate y'all. That was our return from our hiatus, and also our return to just us kicking off the 2019 with the new season. And for everyone that came by, said what's up, drop us a line, just kind of chop it up with us. We appreciate y'all. And also shout out to Wanda B and Earl Winfrey for always giving us a platform for us to be able to speak on with IntellectualRadio.com. We appreciate you guys for being able to provide this for us and give us daily content every day. And like I told you guys last time, whatever you're looking for in terms of sports, politics, when you're looking for food, when you're looking for health, when you're looking for hip hop, music, rock, when you're looking for comedy, when you're looking for drama, when you're looking for what's going on in the gossip world, what's going on in pop culture and whatnot. Anything that you're looking for, IntellectualRadio.com has everything what you're looking for topic-wise. So besides our show, check out our show, obviously, but also check out and see what else is happening on IntellectualRadio.com. Also, huge thank you and a special announcement as well, too, to everyone who voted for the What Are We Gonna Eat short film. Now, last time we were on here, and I was talking to you guys, I was telling you guys that the film What Are We Gonna Eat that I directed last summer, it was up for consideration to be nominated for Best Picture at the VAIFF Film Festival. Because of your votes, because of all the love that y'all showed that film on the website, and with all your votes, we now elevated to finalist level. Where now we are finalists to be nominated for Best Picture, and that is going to take place in October. So for right now, we're just kind of like it's kind of hanging back, is waiting. And then come October, we'll see what happens. So, fingers crossed, hopefully we'll be able to make it and actually be able to really be able to say that we are winners and all. But I still take that as a winning feat with all the votes and all the love and all the recognition that you all were able to give us. And I really do appreciate every single one of you all for being able to come through, slide through, and be able to really show us love. Shout out to everyone who is a part of that project. Ruben Ramirez and Jennifer Hernandez, who were the actors. Also, shout out to my producer, Roxy G, and to my DP and my editor, Mr. Gerald Hendricks. So, I appreciate you guys, being able to be a part of the project. And then, the cycle continues. But I'll keep you all posted with everything. And also, shout out to, I see you, Quan. Shout out to MCM. I see you all in there and everything, coming through to the room and, saying what's up and everything like that. I appreciate that, brother. But yeah, so with that being said, this episode will be sponsored by, what are we going to eat? And since we're on the subject right now, just letting you all know that tomorrow night, and I haven't posted about this already. This is an MDX exclusive. You can call this. Tomorrow night on Facebook, we will be doing a live watch party of what are we going to eat. It's only a 15-minute short, so it won't be too time consuming. So come through at 7:30 p.m. At 7:30 p.m., this will give you an opportunity to not only watch the full short film, but you also will be in the room with me, myself, with Ruben Ramirez, one of the co-stars of the film, with Jennifer Hernandez as well, and possibly Roxy G and Gerald Hendricks as well too. So this way you can kind of watch with us, chop it up with us, ask any questions, kind of make any observations you might notice while you're watching and everything, crack some jokes, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to clown us and everything like that, cool, come through, all right? But be on the lookout. I'm going to post it tomorrow morning, all the details that are involved in the watch party. It's going to be at 7:30 tomorrow night. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to get in your car. You don't have to, someone else know off your car and go somewhere. You'll watch it from your home, watch it from your phone, wherever you're at. Just pop over when the watch party starts. Just hang out. 15 minutes, you can't lose. You know what I mean? You can't lose this at all. So come through with that. It should be good times. All right. All right, now let's get to the nitty gritty of why we're here tonight, y'all. Woo! I cannot wait for this conversation, y'all.
Ooh-wee.
So, if you guys saw the post earlier, you saw we're gonna have two special guests in the studio tonight. So let me introduce you to our guests. First of all, I want to introduce you to guest number one. He is a professional wrestler that is making his long-awaited return to the ring this springtime, I believe. And also in the media, he's also in the media fixture of one of the Northside's people to know that you need to know in your life. He is a fitness instructor and the author of the book I Am Thorn: How I Broke the Chains of Mediocrity and Learned How to Live to Win. Available right now on Amazon Kindle. All right, so get into your Amazon accounts and hit that up in your basket. You can find this man on all the socials. He has the easiest name to remember, the easiest name to be able to spell out for all you illiterate people out there, and be able to find him and hit him up for anything that you need. His name is Alex Thorn.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that intro. It was a perfect intro, man.
Absolutely. Welcome, Alex.
That was like better than Tony Chemmel, man.
And next to Alex, he's an avid wrestling fan and an upcoming Chicago comedian. And as for organization, he's part of an organization that does a monthly comedy show that's titled Bitch and Purge. Now, the purpose of this organization is visual storytelling coming from individuals who work in the food industry, the food service and hospitality industry. It's fun because not only are you able to get these jokes from people who are in the industry, and people who are in the industry can immediately relate to it, but also it's an opportunity for people who are outside the industry to get a peek behind the curtain and know some of the funnies that goes on and kind of get educated on what he goes through. Now, donations are only $8 at the door to help out every person in need who may need funds one day, because unfortunately not everyone in the service industry has health insurance and everything. So, you can really be able to help out by going to bitchandpurgechicago.com. That's BITCHANPURGECHICAGO. Final tick, here we go.com. I had to do some conflict in there, you know what I mean? To check out the date and times. But I'm talking about Mr. KC Omega.
What up, Maurice? I really appreciate this time with you, man. And here's a funny thing though. Like doing this radio show with you, like we started off, from the mid-card mess. Like I usually don't add a lot of wrestling groups, and I added that one. And I really want to appreciate you for having me on the show, getting my upstart in the Chicago comedy scene, really putting that fire up my butt, man. So I appreciate it. But to this day, bro, I don't know what you do. You like Tommy from Martin.
I work in the red building. You already know that.
Like Facebook tells me to wave hi every time I'm downtown Ubering my real job.
I be seeing that too.
But I'm like, where is he and what does he do?
I be seeing that too. I be getting Casey Omega's around. Wave at him. I'm just like, where is he?
Man.
Yeah. But that's the thing is that I go back, I go back some years with these guys. It's funny because before Alex and I got cool, I would always see him commenting on like Chicago Facebook groups. You know how they had like neighborhood Facebook groups and all that stuff and everything. I'll always see Alex Thorne commenting on it and whatnot and everything. And one time, Casey brought him to my house for a pay-per-view. And so I'm like, okay, in case I can't bring my boy out. So I'm like, yeah, for sure, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? So like, so I'm sitting here like, sitting looking at this man across my living room. I'm like, why he looks so damn familiar? I've seen this guy before. And then like, when I guess your last name got brought up somehow, some way in conversation. And like, you from the what's called group or whatever, So it's crazy how it's like you can see people who like comment on kind of like the things that you frequently see on your timeline. Right. You have no idea who they are, but then just like in the blink of an eye, you're connected with them. So.
Yeah, no. I think it was from the mid-card mess wrestling group that I've been in and out of for the last for commenting in the first place. So I was easy to remember. The last name Thorne.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of people say, I think I know this guy. This guy. So I've experienced that a lot over the years. Absolutely. Even with people I've never met, they're like, wait, I feel like I've heard of you before.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing, actually.
Absolutely. So before we get into the meat of everything, like, tell us a little bit about yourselves. I know I gave you guys a little bit of introduction, but I know you guys can articulate a little bit better about who you are. This way that the people understand, like, who you are flowing through.
I mean, I'll start off with, we're all connected right now through wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Big time.
Fanship or just actually doing it. And I think you said before that you tried wrestling 1 or 2 times right in the past. And I did it for a full 5 years in the Midwest scene. I let go of everything maybe like 6 years ago, 6-7 years ago. And me and Casey, we ran a couple shows. We ran a charity event called Blackout Wrestling, Long Live Luther North, where we helped save this Luther North High School. We're actually coming up on the 10th anniversary of that in May. So we're going to be able to do a big thing with that. The federation that I was with, UWC, we're having a reunion show in May as well. So that's going to be at the Berwyn Eagles Club. I'll tweet out and put all the Instagram links and all that stuff. But, outside of that, I've just always been an entrepreneur, man. I've always been a wrestling fan. I turned that into physical fitness. I turned that into a book to help people, hey, here's what I did wrong and what I did right, what you can avoid. And if any of my mistakes can help anybody, that's awesome. Or my successes, whatever can inspire. That's what I want to do. And just joining up with people like you and KC who want to do more and want to put smiles on people's faces. That's what life's about. So that's why the whole Live to Win moniker is alive.
That's what's up right there. That's what's up, man. And you like really have created your own brand from this whole thing, and you really have really built yourself into kind of like a fixture in not only within wrestling but also within fitness and such. And with you being an author, how has it been like? What's your experience how has it been like being an author? With your own material that's out there. Like, are you looking to maybe expand, write some more books? Maybe?
Yeah. I want to follow up I Am Thorne because that was just the beginning. That was like the hodgepodge of telling everybody what I've done. The next book is going to be centered on physical fitness and that journey, help people out with that. And then the next one will probably be on pro wrestling, which is why the May show is coming up with UWC. And I'm going to focus in on each one and then also being an entrepreneur. So there's more books coming down the line little by little. Because there's so much more to expand on, right? And then with Thorne Fitness, there's something coming up with that too this year. I've been laying low with Thorne Fitness a little bit over the last few years, but that's coming back pretty strongly, laying the groundwork and foundation for that right now. So again, it's been a great journey, man. In Chicago, come on, Chicago's got so many hungry, entrepreneurs and young guys who just want to make it out there and put their word out there. And that's not that they want anything grand; they just want to be out there and put their own spin on things. Yeah. It's a great place to be.
That's absolutely true. And that really does segue smoothly into KC. Yeah. With what you're doing in terms of building up your brand and such as well too. And I've had the pleasure to really kind of see you really be able to really grow into this. When it comes to the Chicago comedy scene. And let me tell y'all, this dude is ridiculously funny.
Don't hype me.
I'm telling you,
don't
man, for real, you know what? No, this thing is that because it's funny because the other day you were talking about it, and I'm like, that's for real. I was talking to Christina about that as well too. I'm like, there's real funny, there's Facebook funny.
Yeah.
Facebook funny is just like when you're stealing people's memes and you type it out yourself.
And I protect that when it comes to the comedy scene and the Chicago comedy scene about being a Facebook funny guy or just being a real funny guy? Because you get a lot of guys on Facebook right now who will just post up a meme, get a lot of likes, and think they got the best fans in the world.
Right.
But like what I try to explain to them is, have this microphone in your face for one time and hear your voice come out of there. How long are you gonna talk then? And can you do that in front of a room of one person, yet alone 5 to 50? You know, and I started off like Maurice, as you know, I started off as one of those Facebook comics, one of those guys who used to post up something, generate a lot of likes, and build off of that. Then I realized one day, it's like, nah, that's not gonna get me anywhere as long as I get on the stage, because I know I'm funny. I've been funny since like the 5th grade. I've been funny since I've known Alex. You know, we both went to high school together. This guy used to get me out of my class because the teachers wouldn't say I wouldn't shut up. You know what I mean?
That's actually how we kind of became closer. Is that, you know how if you got that class clown who's always causing trouble, and they get security, they send them to the office, they do all that, they wouldn't get security. The teacher would come out of the class, go down to the 2nd floor and get me from my class.
Oh, wow.
That I was in and say, Alex, can you please come to my, class?
Yeah.
Casey is acting up. And I'd have to go over there and there was, he'd take over the
Alex looked like Mr. Clark from Lean on Me. And I'm like the little boy with my head down, like, sir.
And I'm like 4 years older than him. I'm a junior, he's a freshman, and I'm like, come here, brother. And I'm over there telling him, come here. And he comes up, what, man? Come on, man. Yeah. And I'm over there telling him, like, come on, why you gotta give the teacher a hard time, man? Come on. And so it's been like that for years. So he's always, been the class clown.
And this is awesome. I can hear my voice on this mic. I am 2 months without a cigarette without hearing myself breathe on there. Like, this is amazing, man. No chantix. This is amazing. I can just don't hear myself breathing on this joint, man. For real. But we connected through the wrestling scene. Just, it'll be conversations that went from like the lunchroom meet to actually getting called in the promotion to Alex actually doing the show and getting me involved. So, we take wrestling very seriously, especially myself. I know when a lot of the boys, as we call them wrestlers, when they see somebody who hasn't like took a bump in the ring, they consider them a mark. But no, I've been there with the boys. I've booked matches. I've seen it all and got that respect without ever have to taking a bump. So yeah.
So you two really do go back, quite some time. Now, earlier, you did mention that you two were working together with one of the promotions with
UWC.
With UWC. All right, and you were the talent. You were wrestling. And Casey, weren't you like, kind of like the jack of all trades with the promotion where you were like announcing, you're doing the ring introductions, you were doing like, all the promotion and everything.
Cameraman. I started to, ring work, cameraman, announcing anything that can just get your foot in the door to get the respect from the boys, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I brought him in. He came in and he started doing camera work for the company on the first show. And then from there, we started getting him to do interviews. And then they transitioned him over to being a referee for a little while. And then from there, we kind of both broke apart from that organization and we did our own thing, Blackout Wrestling. And for that, I depended on him to like kind of control the boys in the back and be the manager of the boys. And he did an awesome job. So he's had a hand in a lot of different areas of pro wrestling in the indie scene. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like growing up with it, like seeing your best friend starting off just as a manager, then seeing him get his first match and then seeing him progress to actually having a main event within 3 months. It's like, you fall in love with the business, man. And, we didn't get paid $1, a dime or squat, but we were there every Saturday afternoon to Saturday night. The first ones in and the last ones to leave when it came to UWC, man. Like we bled UWC.
So now you're making a comeback though.
There's something going on. Yeah, there's a reunion show.
Okay. Oh, is that the count at the back? It's not that. I saw the post on Instagram and I was like, okay, bet. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I've been hearing a lot too because it's like, well, who's he wrestling and what are you gonna do? Because they just had me as a special guest, and I haven't committed to anything but showing up.
Okay.
And that's kind of typical Alex Thorne, right? It's like, when I'm there, I'll let you know what I'm going to do.
Sure.
And that's kind of how it's been with the promoters, with the boys and everybody else is they don't even know what I'm going to do until I get there. And I'm in my head, I'm starting to plan. I'm starting to know what, peek who's on the show and say, you know what, I don't like that guy, and I'm gonna maybe shake his hand or slap him in the face. I don't know, but I'll find out and you'll find out when you're there. I kind of like to work off the cuff, and on this show it's going to be the same thing.
When is the show and where is it?
So it's going to be at the Berwyn Eagles Club. I believe it's May 20th.
May 25th.
May 25th?
May 25th.
All right, so it's May 25th. We've got a long time till then. There's going to be a lot of promotion. I hope to come back on your show again if I can. And I'm going to be spreading the word as much as I can about it, because there's a lot of guys, UWC was really important for about a good year and a half. I want to say 2008 to 2011.
Yeah.
Right? UWC was the only game in town. When all the other indie feds in Chicago kind of died down, NWA, War, all these other ones that were around back then, UWC came up from the ground of that.
WCPW.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
PCW too.
Yeah,
PCW.
and Giovanni Nieves, which is Dante DVS, and a couple other guys, they brought UWC to the foreground and made sure that was a place for Chicago talent to go.
It was getting to the point where we was getting shows. Gio was booking shows every week where we were finally hitting the dirt sheets. Yeah. And, I was the one to check those, check into the dirt sheets like, yo, Gio, we finally hit the dirt sheets where they're saying shows happening this weekend, UWC Nation, where they'll post our flyer that we handmade ourselves, like from the ground up, that the dirt sheets was like hitting it up.
Yes.
Wow. Because I remember like Steel Domain and PCW was around and whatnot and everything. So when those when those kind of like went to the left, then up came UWC.
Yeah,
that's real cool. I didn't know about that then.
Yeah, so
I didn't know about that factor of it.
I'm happy they're coming back.
Yeah, because I remember hearing about UWC, but I always thought it was okay. It's another promotion, but I didn't know it was like spawned from like the other, like the dying promotions of.
Yeah, it was like IWCPW. Yeah, it's like a couple dying promotions of other like.
Yeah, there was like NWA, there was War, there was IWC, there was WCPW. Those were all like just all of a sudden just dying down, and all UWC came out of nowhere and rocked it. Had a lot of young talent, and they weren't using the same old guys that were traveling from fed to fed to fed that you saw. Like, oh, hey, I'm going to see a show this week, next week, and the next week, and they all had the same guys. It's just a different promotion.
Right.
UWC had different guys. It gave people chances that didn't have chances before.
Right. No, that's good. That's excellent. And what's really pertinent to this is that it's showing that independent wrestling really has like taken on a new life in this day and age right now.
Yeah.
This is a really great era right now when it comes to independent wrestling, especially, with Danny on the phone. Danny, he is like pretty much like the kind of like the promoter for one of the promoters for Defy Wrestling that takes place in the Pacific Northwest and the Seattle area. Okay. And Defy Wrestling is just like, it's growing heavily out there. And obviously, Danny, like, you can talk about a little bit more and everything like that, because you have a lot more involvement with it. But you've seen like, a great amount of growth from Defy since its inception, right?
Yeah. It started off as a really, really small company 2 years ago. We tried to build it with Shane Strickland, who's from Seattle, and 2-year anniversary show was last Saturday, and lo and behold, the Young Bucks showed up.
Yeah, I saw your post about that. They came out of nowhere.
So it was kind of a big deal, right? Like,
yeah.
This little promotion in Seattle, and you got some of the biggest names in indie wrestling showing up. So it was crazy. It's crazy to see where it's been. Austin Aries held our championship for a while. Davey Richards held our championship for a while. Shane Strickland did, and now they have it on Artemis Spencer, who's a local guy. He's from Vancouver, BC, in Canada. But I don't know if you've talking about the landscape of independent wrestling. I don't know if you guys have seen the Wrestle Summit that's going on in LA in March.
No, you said it's a summit.
Yeah, Wrestle Summit.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Nice.
It's basically TCW, which runs out of Wilmington, California. There's the Melbourne City Wrestling there in Australia. Impact Wrestling's part of it. Defy is part of it. The Wrestling Revolver out of Iowa is part of it. They're basically showcasing all of their top talent into like a super duper show.
Wow.
Nice.
That reminds me of like
Oh.
back in the day in the 90s when Sting and the guys used to do the conventions and all that too.
Yeah. And see, and I think that's like where I'm kind of going into, because it feels like that the climate of wrestling right now really does need the indies to be able to survive and to be able to continue to grow and such. And I think what's really great about it, what's really refreshing, is that it's showing that there's not only WWE is not your only option when it comes to what you want, when it comes to, like, anything that you want to watch, professional wrestling wise. I mean, granted, there's ROH, there's New Japan Pro Wrestling, but it might be a little bit difficult to be able to tune into those promotions, especially in Chicago. We don't get the WGN America here, so we don't get ROH, as easy. And in order to watch New Japan, you have to have the the package, which is a great package. The monthly subscription fee and everything for New Japan World, but not everyone has that. But to be able to have these outlets where you have local professional wrestling happening only a couple miles away from your house, really is a big deal. And speaking of that, what we talked about this in our last episode when we were talking about AEW, and that's the All Elite Wrestling.
Ooh.
And we touched on it a little bit, but now since it's been a few more weeks since the kickoff that happened on that happened in Jacksonville, now we're learning a lot more about what this promotion really is going to be about. And really is like one of those promotions where it's like, okay, we cannot ignore this. We have to pay attention thoroughly to this wrestling promotion of AEW. And kind of like this, it reminds me a little bit of kind of like similar to how the NBA is, because like how the current NBA model is right now. It's changed so much from being like a big man dominated league to now it's like no more like the point guards, who like the kids.
It's faster.
It's faster, right? It's faster. It's more energy. There's a lot more electricity in these games and everything. You're seeing final scores of 136 to 125 and everything. You didn't see that about 15 years ago.
And I believe that's the whole generation with that. Everybody's faster. The NBA, the NFL, like everything's faster. Like you can even see what's going on now.
And that parallels a lot too with the independent scene as well too, especially with AEW, because they really are centering a lot of their showcase talent around the ones who are like, the smaller guys, the ones who are a little more agile, a little more quicker, a little more faster in the ring and such and everything. So it really is shifting. It really is paralleling with what we're seeing today in sports as a whole. So All In was revolutionary. That was huge. That was a really that was a really major, just like a thunderous clap, to the wrestling world. Did you guys go to it?
No. I knew about All In and all that stuff, but I paid more attention to StarCast, the event that Conrad Thompson put together.
Right.
I was like super into the business aspect of that one. I kept reading about everything he was doing there.
Yeah.
All In. Did you pay attention?
No, I streamed it legally, I think.
I snoozed on getting tickets because when the tickets went on, I knew they were going on sale the day they were on sale.
Right.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'll grab them like later on or whatever like that. But then I wake up, I heard they sold out like overnight in like an hour. I'm like, dang, okay, this ain't.
It was like because it was a challenge from Dave Meltzer. Put a challenge out there. Well, not a challenge. He said they asked if ROH can sell out a crowd of 10,000, and he said he don't think any promotion outside of WWE could sell out a crowd of 10,000. That's how we got to this day. That's what we have to this day. The reason why we have All In and All Elite Wrestling right now.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the vets were saying too, like, they won't even touch 3,000. Like, it's Chicago. That's a WWE town. That's not, they were putting it down, to be honest. And I forget which ones were saying it, but there was a lot of vets that were talking. I know Jim Cornette, of course, vocal Jim, right? Jim Ross, wished them the best, but he was like, I don't think they're going to do much either. And they turned everybody away.
And the crazy part is they sold. Me and Alex was at that arena, like I say, about 6 years ago at a TNA Impact taping, and they couldn't even fill up half the arena for that. And they did. Here's the thing: they did 4 tapings, and and we were there for 4 hours, and they couldn't fill up half of it. They did the live taping, which was 1 hour, after the live taping, they went to the regular tapings for the next week. Half the crowd left.
Yeah, that was the issue.
Half the crowd
It was
left.
hot when it started. It was hot, but as those 4 hours went on, hour 2, hour 3, man, it got empty, and that's people that paid for it, and that's when you had stars there like Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Sting,
Prime
Rob
AJ
Van
Styles,
Dam, Jeff Hardy,
Hulk
Everybody
Hogan,
was there.
the
People
Aces
are
of
leaving.
Eights.
Nobody cared. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, great. Okay, this is going on too long. Let's go."
See, do you think that kind of like fits into the culture that we have right now, where if it's going on too long, quote unquote, then I'm changing the channel, I'm turning it off, I'm going to the next thing, I'm checking my phone, I'm going on my iPod, you know what I mean, like on my iPad.
Yeah, because
you know what I'm saying, like the attention span and everything.
Yeah,
like that?
attention span is a lot. So which goes with like how, like you mentioned, the talent is faster, they're more athletic now, and AEW is going after that talent. So that way, if you change the channel and you see somebody doing all the things that they do, rather than just putting the cup to the ear, Hulk Hogan style. Right, if you're doing more than that and you're doing all these impressive moves, you're probably going to stick around a little longer and say, "Whoa, my God, what are these guys doing?"
Right.
But when's enough is enough, though. Like when you have these guys just flipping, because back in the day when it was WCW, they only had one slot on the 2-hour show.
Yeah,
the cruiserweights, and they were the beginning of the match.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Now, I think what's interesting with this though is that I think AEW is in a very unique position where they can learn from all the other promotions, all the other situations that may not have stuck, and be able to really say, okay, let's learn from those losses that took place, some years ago, and let's be able to kind of like, do things the right way. Especially when you think about Cody, because Cody has the pedigree, the wrestling pedigree, going from his brother to his pops, and all. I mean, like it's deeply rooted. So he kind of like knows how to be able to tap into that traditional aspect, but at the same time, though, make sure that it does keep up with kind of like the modern wave of like where we are right now and such. You know what I mean? So I think that kind of like gives AEW a major advantage, when it comes to coming off the starting blocks. No, not really. All I got was man, you don't know.
Well, look. The reason I make that,
Here comes Mr. Clark, y'all.
We'll break it down. Break it down for me.
Well, look, here's the thing. The Young Bucks and Cody, they're talent. First and foremost, they're talent. There might be creative talent, right, where they got a good few ideas. Dusty had a good few ideas. Not all of them were great, but some of them were good. It's the same thing with Cody and the Young Bucks. Know this, and this is a pattern that's always gone on. Talent will always put themselves first. So right now, Cody and the Young Bucks, they're looking like heroes, right? To the wrestling fans, let's call them that. So the wrestling fans, they're looking like heroes. But next year, when they notice that every single event has had Cody in the main event, and every single event has the Young Bucks on the poster, wrestling fans, as cynical as they are, they're going to turn on them. And they're going to wonder, why are they always in the main event? Why is it always these guys? Because talent thinks of talent first. They think of themselves first.
It's like 10 years ago when Jeff Jarrett was running Impact and he was winning a lot of those matches, and people turned on him in a heartbeat because he was winning all the titles and booking himself over.
And you're going to hear the same answer from them that you heard from everybody else. Who can you trust? Who can I trust more with my company than myself? And I'm telling you, it's going to happen. It sounds like he's going to have the pulse. He's going to have his finger on the pulse of wrestling today for a little while. It'll seem that way, but at the end of the day, he's a talent, and he's going to look out for himself first. And so are the Young Bucks, and the fans are going to peep that, and they're going to get agitated and turn.
Okay, but Casey, you mentioned Jeff Jarrett earlier, and I 100% agree with you on that. And that was one, because I remember when TNA was was coming up. This is back in 03, 04 and everything. The one pill I could not swallow was I can't take Jeff Jarrett as their world champion. I cannot take that seriously. It wasn't believable to me, because I never saw Jeff Jarrett as a world champion. Even when he was in WCW and when he was the WCW world champion, I still looked at that as like I didn't take that seriously at all. So that's what I'm saying. Like, no, I do agree with that. However, going back to what I was saying earlier, though, do you think that Cody will look at that and be like, you know what you said, Alex, talent does traditionally put themselves over, kind of like, put themselves in the front line, traditionally or whatever. But because we're going about this a different way, we're not going to do that. Maybe first couple of pay-per-views, Cody may be in the main event, kind of kick things off. But then eventually it will be, we need to highlight everyone else then. Because I mean, when you look at their because when you look at their roster, the roster.
I did some research on the roster this morning, and I've been doing some research, and it's the same guys that you start with your fan at other places. Your Christopher Daniels, your Kazarians.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they start? They started ROH, and they used those guys a lot to get credibility.
Yeah.
Then you got Hangman Page. He was a hot free agent, but he's not at the Kenny Omega status. And then they have of course Pac, as they call him, Pac Neville.
And
that guy.
I thought that was X-Pac.
Yeah. You probably saw that X-Pac.
The name Pac. I was like, X-Pac is coming back.
It's not
really?
Sean Waltman, and they got Pac. And I'm looking at the what was the event that they had what was the thing they had the kickoff when they had the kickoff show? Hangman Page is like 6'4" or 6'2", and Neville's like staring them down. I was like, Jesus Christ, man, this is what you can get. And then as their biggest star comes, as they see it as, is Chris Jericho, and I felt like he lost a lot of steam than what he used to have before, because Chris Jericho, everybody knows and the fans know, because we're so smart, that you're gonna put your hands on everything that you can get. Yep. And that's not like, if you want to kick off your roster, I think that's not how you try to kick off your roster with those type of guys, man. Just at that level, honestly, they needed somebody a hell of a lot bigger to get them more promotion.
Yep.
And that's true. Now, do you think that could be in the works then? And something that we don't know, because they have the show coming up. I think Double or Nothing that's happening. May 25th.
Okay. Maybe that's the date I was thinking about at first.
Our show's actually May 11th.
Yeah.
Okay. I was about to say, what's the same day as your show? No. But May 25th.
Lex Luger's gonna come out.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Lex Luger.
But I'm saying though, that could be something that could be working right now behind the scenes. I mean, let's take into consideration the bankroll that AEW has going for themselves right now. For real, let's take it into account. Now the cons, they're the ones who own this organization, who own this promotion. Shahid Khan and Tony Khan. Now for y'all who don't know, Shahid is the lead investor and the owner of the promotion, and his son Tony is the president and the head of the day-to-day operations. Shahid is the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars for the NFL team, and Tony is an avid wrestling fan, so obviously they're working together, on this whole venture. When it comes to Shahid, he was featured on the front cover of Forbes magazine in 2012, associating him as a face of the American Dream. And back to January 2019, Khan's net worth is $6.9 billion. He's ranked the 65th. He's ranked 65th in the Forbes 400 list of the richest Americans, and is overall the 217th wealthiest person in the world. He's also the richest person of Pakistani origin. And now his son Tony is the co-owner, like I said earlier. And he also like the co-owner in all of his father's adventures. So he's a part owner of the Jaguars, Fulham FC, and now AEW. So we're talking about a ridiculous bankroll. I mean, this is more than McMahon.
This is like Ted Turner money right here.
This is Ted Turner money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. It's Ted Turner money. So
WCW.
yeah, exactly. So don't you think that with that's going to entice some kind of maybe a big name that's in WWE that may not be getting that much tick and might look that way, I can get a good payday from them. You know what I'm saying? And
but who's big? Who outside of John Cena? Who can come over to another federation and actually make some noise and make the casual fan like me care?
Randy Orton.
No,
not Randy Orton.
Not at all.
You don't think so?
Not at all.
Not Randy Orton.
Randy Orton?
He's so stale.
Randy Orton. Wait, hold on.
He's so stale, man.
Really?
Yeah, I went to the Royal Rumble 2 years ago and he won it, and the crowd was just in despair.
He's got one thing.
Yeah,
he's got his move, RKO, and that's it.
And his arm, his jelly arm.
Wait, Dane, what are you saying?
The one in San Antonio?
Yeah, the one in San Antonio, where the one that he won.
Yeah, I was there. I was so quiet when Randy Orton won.
Thank you. Witness right there.
Right.
But you don't think that the name, if we open up the dirt sheets, the articles,
Yeah.
in the next couple months, and it says, or even at the event, if he comes out as a surprise, like I'm here, that would send shockwaves through wrestling.
Randy Orton's a loyalist to the WWE.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
We're not gonna
That's
see
not
that
gonna
guy.
happen.
He's got a tour bus. He's got his kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
He likes to pull out his and get away with it. So, Randy Orton's good right now. And Randy Orton's attitude, you think he can work with some of those indie guys? You seen like 6 months ago, he was already disrespecting indie guys as it is with the dive comment. I don't know if you remember that. So,
on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I don't even think guys really want to work with Randy Orton, to be honest. But going for what's his name, Shahid Khan and his son Tony. Yeah, they do have a lot of money, and it's gonna be a lot of backing from them. But Shahid's a really good guy when it comes to like owning the Jacksonville Jaguars. We had this thing where the players were kneeling, and a lot of the owners wasn't agreeing with that, but Shahid stood with his players and didn't kneel, but had them like come together. He's a owner's person, like you have a coach who's a people's person.
Yeah, right.
Shahid's like an owner's person. He put himself up front with his fans, and he like makes himself known with his fans. Everybody can come up to him and shake his hand. So I don't know if his son can replicate that can his son replicate what he does as well? And plus, in the wrestling industry, as Alex would know, wrestlers are greedy, man.
Yeah.
Wrestlers look out for themselves. And what if they get a guy that's nice like that? They're not going to be dealing with Shahid. They're going to be dealing with Tony.
Yep. And I was listening to a podcast interview with Tony earlier today, kind of like to prep up for this, because Casey knows more about the cons more than I do, so I kind of did some research. And he seems like a nice guy, like a really nice guy. He's been a fan ever since he was a kid. A shark out there named Bill Goldberg is talking to him, and they're cool. And here's the thing, I'm not trying to say anything bad about Bill, because I'm a huge Goldberg fan, but at this point Goldberg will not move a needle if he comes somewhere new. He won't. He'll get a few fans interested, but the fans of today are going to say, "Oh my God, Goldberg's there. Okay, now we're tired of him. We want to see somebody flippy dippy do something, whatever, some jalapeno popper guy, which is out there today." But that's the thing. I heard Tony talking, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we get along great about football because he's a big football fan, and we might be in the talks, but that's it." He doesn't know that Goldberg he's gonna take him for all he can, and who wouldn't? Once you know that's on the table, and you only have to make a couple shots. You don't have that pressure of WWE on there. You've got a little bit more creative freedom, and you get a big payday out of it. There's going to be a lot of Bill Goldbergs coming out of the woodwork for this company.
So you think it's a possibility that maybe if they start entertaining some of the more veteran guys, because they are very well versed into this business and this industry, don't know how to take advantage
Absolutely.
of them.
Well,
Did you not see that with TNA?
Yeah, and that's how it usually starts,
Did
man.
you not see it with TNA?
And see, that's why I feel like the first 5 years of this organization is really critical in terms of what they're going to do, how they present themselves, their bumps, their highs and lows are going to be, because all that's going to be very visible. Whatever happens with them, whatever type of what we're talking about right now, in terms of any type of any type of roadblocks they might hit with talent.
Yeah,
it really does. It really is critical these first 5 years, because we're going to see the growing pains. And I feel like after the 5 years, then they'll be able to understand this is where we are strong. This is where we are weak. This is where we need to improve. This is where we can accentuate our strengths and everything. But I think that it's going to take a little bit of time. Now, I think wrestling fans do need to be a little patient with the organization, because we can't expect for Double or Nothing to be to be the greatest pay-per-view of all time. I think fans are going to expect a whole lot from them on this.
But if you look at the pay-per-view All In, the production style was just like WWE. The wrestling matches, just like WWE. The wrestling types, just like WWE, compared to what they did before in Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and some other feds. So I got a feeling that it's gonna emulate WWE a lot just by looking at All In, just seeing how they do the wrestling matches. So yeah, we're gonna be patient, but yet if they like screw some of this up, man, we're gonna be boisterous when it comes to like the wrestling.
Mm-hmm. But don't you think that the wrestling is going to I mean, that is that like the least of your worries right now? The wrestling itself, because of the talent they have on there. Granted, I know that they don't have like, they don't have Seth Rollins over there. They don't have a Dolph Ziggler over there or a Miz or anything like that. They don't have like, people who are ingrained in our heads of being like, what we expect. But they do have talented individuals over there though who can work. Like there's a rumor going around that what's his name? The NWA champion Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis, yeah.
That he's supposed to be there. He might even be wrestling Cody at Double or Nothing.
That's Magnus, right, from TNA.
Wait,
that is Magnus. Yeah, Magnus.
That's how I know.
Yeah.
I don't. That name that you just mentioned, I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, Magnus, exactly. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, they will have talented guys, but it's really about how the organization is going to be ran. I think that's like my biggest concern, really. Because I think the wrestling will be there, but when it comes to how the promotion stays afloat, that really is going to be critical.
Let me bring something up here. The thing is, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to become a number 2? Are they going to be WWE like? Which I know they're going to say that we're not going to try to be that, right? But to get eyes on the product, you're going to have to bring in people who were in WWE, and they already started doing that with Jericho. You know what I mean? They're talking to Bill. That's the other big name. That's I'm sure X-Pac even he's going to jump on it because he's been talking to him. Everybody is favorites. You got Kevin Nash out there or Scott Hall, tweeting about it. They're already, this is great. This is amazing.
Billy Gunn's there.
Yeah, Billy Gunn. They want their hands on it. And the thing is, the more of those guys you bring in, the more it's going to drain you. But they bring them in with good hopes of bringing eyes on the product, right? But it's not the right eyes. It's only the eyes that are going to watch for that moment and turn away. So if you turn away those older guys, those vets, and you stick with just the young talent, then you only have that small pool of dedicated hardcore wrestling fans, and that doesn't grab the eye. So it's a hard game.
Yeah, and how like with regular sports, NFL teams, if you have a young core, they like to toss in a couple veterans in there to keep those guys at level. I would like to see a mixture of that when it comes to AEW, big time. Like having a decent veteran that just to guide these guys, but we got the Kazarian and the Christopher Daniels, they're gonna work the hell out of them though.
And see, I guess that's where I'm going at as well too, because I kind of think about TNA in 2010, when it had that that mix between the veterans.
That was great, man.
Hogan, you had RVD, you had the Nasty Boys, you had Nash over there, Booker T, and then on the flip side, you had the TNA originals. You had your AJ Styles, you had your Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, what's his name?
Petey Williams.
Petey Williams, right? Yeah. Exactly.
Little Papa Pump.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, absolutely. And even the Motor City Machine Guns. You had that mix. But the thing is, though, is that it was a spark that was there for for a little bit of time, but then that spark just died out.
Yeah.
So in your opinions, because you two are very well versed when it comes to this whole professional wrestling game, especially you, Alex, since you are a performer, what can AEW do? Because TNA tried doing that balance, but it didn't work. But what can AEW do to make sure they don't go in that direction that TNA went?
Well, they've got to partner up right. That's the thing. TNA had every ingredient, right? But they didn't have the connections. They didn't promote. They didn't do anything like that. I mean, there's so many talents that mentioned that before. Like, we've got like one of the greatest rosters of the last decade at this point, like 2010, 2011. They had everybody. Everybody who mattered, they had them. And then they would say, we'd show up and we'd have a 600-person house show. And they're like, because there was no advertisements. The hotel across the street didn't even know TNA was going to be there. It was things like that. So that's what AEW can do differently, is really make themselves well-known. Utilize social media as they can. Get on the news for the morning they're going to be there in whatever city they're going to be there. They've got to push everybody and push a marketing team, because the more you're seen, perception is reality. Oh, these guys, they must be somebody because we're seeing them on the news. We're seeing them on TV. We're seeing them on social media. That's what TNA forgot. They said, oh, we have Hulk Hogan. That's going to take care of everything. No, you still got to book Hulk Hogan in the right places so he can talk about you. And the same thing now they've got to book Jericho in the right places, because I've heard they've paid him a hefty penny, and he's even admitted it. Like, this is more money than WWE has thrown at him.
That blew my mind when I read that.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
What?
That's huge.
Right.
A new company throwing more money at a guy like Jericho than he's seen from the biggest company.
That's why they're offering double now. WWE's offering double.
They're offering double to who?
They tried to book me, bro. They tried to book me, man. No, I'm joking.
Biggest contract you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Right. And did you turn them down?
Turn them down. I was gonna be in the catering room.
Right. You're a man of the people.
I'm
right?
the man of the people.
Yeah. No corporations for you.
You good.
Yeah. Yeah. But as far as like when it comes to AEW, you know, I'm seeing also like they want to get the TV deal, and I'm seeing a lot of rumors from Uncle Dave and everybody. They're like, well, maybe they can go to the CW or maybe they can go to a TBS, but it's like you don't want to make those same mistakes that they did in WCW by going to a regular cable network, as you can see right now. And I don't like to compare it to WWE, but they're moving away from the USA network and they're going to a sports channel, such as Fox Sportsnet, meaning that they're going to get a different audience, a different demographic, you know. They're gonna get a different audience, a different demographic, and possibly some more viewers. Maybe that the people who watch UFC who carry over to watch WWE, and I see that in AEW is like, well, if you're gonna try to get TBS, like, are you following the same route as WWE? Because as of right now, I see a lot of wrestling promotions get a lot of steam off of either having a YouTube channel. They get a lot of steam having it on Facebook Live. They get it. Even some of them post their promotions on Twitch, you know. Yeah. So I want them to hope they can just focus on just being different for the reality of wrestling, just being really different, you know, instead of just trying to focus on the major cable network, you know. Because you can see, as wrestling fans, we are, in our demographic, we are known to be cheap. You watch a WWE show and on the USA network, and you see the commercials, it's like for like Stackers 2. It's like for Stackers 2 or Carl's Jr. They know we're fat and cheap. And they promote their own stuff, the WWE shop. WWE fans will spend like $80 on WWE shop stuff. But they go to a bar, dude, they tip like $2, man. I swear, WWE fans, they kill me. They complain about, like, that's the reason why the squared circle, man. Oh, wow. The squared circle in Chicago. That's my biggest gripe. Hold on, let me just rant about this. This is my biggest gripe, man. WWE fans, stop being broke, man. Stop being broke. Too broke for your own good. There's been times I went to the squared circle and there's dudes standing up just to watch the pay-per-view for free. Oh my God. Talking about I'm trying to watch in the back of the room. Watching pay-per-view for free, and the server comes like, would you like a beer? Nah, can I get some water?
Yeah, bro, you can't.
I will chop you. And that's my thing with AEW, man. Let's get these broke fans. Let's try to keep them. Let's try to see what we can do with them, because 99% of the time, they're not going to watch that on the TBS network. They don't have Comcast or any other major network provider. They're going to try to stream it for free, like how the other ones are.
I agree. No, I'm with you on that. And that's funny because, I don't know why it is that wrestling fans, they'll, without a blink of an eye, they'll spend $200 at the merch table at the show, but and they'll spend another $50 at concession. But for like any everyday type stuff, like, you know, even like when it comes to grooming or having like nice clothes, they're not with it.
No,
you know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, exactly. I mean, that's the wild thing. But the thing is, though, is that, like, you know, we have a lot to look forward to. When it comes to AEW, and I don't know, like, there's a lot of questions right now. I think overall, though, even though we might be on different ends of the table right now, what's really cool is that we have something that's brewing. It's new. It's something fresh. It's something that's going that we're looking forward to seeing. And then it's kind of like, you know, we'll kind of see what happens. You know what I mean? And so, like, we're kind of like at the very beginning stage of, you know, of not knowing what could happen. So, I mean, we'll see. And who knows? Maybe 6 months from now, maybe a year from now, we'll be singing some different praises. You know what I'm saying? And maybe we'll be pretty impressed. And you two will have more of an optimistic view on this promotion that you do right now.
I am not shallow how, man.
I don't know, man. You know, I'm optimistic for the wrestling fans of today. Like, me personally, I could care less, honestly.
Uh-huh.
I really could care less about this because all the guys I cared about, they're gone.
Mm.
And they're too old to move and wrestle and get in there anymore, and their value is low in the ring. But for fans of today, it does, I understand it does provide an alternative that could be seen on national television instead of at 2 a.m, on some local access or some, ESPN at 2 a.m. or something. I get it. For them, it's cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Danny, final words about AEW, brother?
What?
He said, I thought you forgot about me. No, you got any final words about AEW, bro?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to do very well.
All right.
I can feel the love. I can feel the love for AEW in here.
Danny, will you be at the Royal Rumble this year?
No, I'm not going to the Rumble. I just should have because it's like really close to me. But my big trip this year, I think, is going to be Bola for PWG in September.
Nice.
And I'm gonna do the G1 in Dallas.
Oh, they have it in Dallas this year, the G1?
They're doing the first day of G1 in Dallas.
Nice. Well, I'll be at the Rumble. I will have a sign for you. Danny didn't say much. Well, he's still over.
There you go.
Before we get out of here, gentlemen, thank you very much, for being guests today. Before we get out of here, though, tell everyone how they can find you, where they can find you at, your socials, your website.
Right. So my website is iamthorn.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Ultimate Thorn. I mean, everything you need to know about me is right there. I want to talk about wrestling, fitness, rock and roll, entrepreneurship. Just, come at me. We'll talk about it.
And remember to get his book on Kindle.
That's right. And it's on physical as well. And you can get a special limited edition on iamthorn.com. It's a variant cover. I'll sign it personally for you, and it'll have a download card. So it's pretty cool. And that's available on the shop zone of iamthorn.com.
Shop zone.
Yeah.
Well, you can find me at KC Omega. You can just look it up and you will find me on there. I have some of the funniest stuff on my page. Also, I do open mics all on the Chicago scene. I'll be in Arizona this weekend attending the Royal Rumble. So if anybody's watching from the west of Arizona, I'll be at the Devil's Advocate doing comedy open mic there at the patio at 8:00. So holler at me.
Ken Coleman, Lee Coleman, Kezia Garcia, hit my boy up, holler at him. He's gonna be in town, so take care of him. All right. All right then. All right. Well, that's gonna be enough. Hold on. Let me flip this camera around. Get my pretty face on for y'all. All right. Y'all miss me, right? But anyway, that's gonna be it for the MDX Radio Show, y'all. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much, KC Omega and Alex Thorne, for being our guests tonight. Danny Dang, as always, thank you, brother, for being a part of the show. And once again, hit us up on MDX. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. Hit Danny up, and we got y'all. All right. Until next time. Peace.
So just got that loose jaw, shouting louder than the speakers, spreading all that trash talk. So much sicker than a fever, that rumor is like a